One of the main conversation points of Marvel Rivals Season 2 is the overall power of Dive, which has actually affected the community on a pretty large level. With the obvious nature of Dive, it's caused a lot of strategist players to come out and talk about how unfun this season is for them, because they're basically getting farmed in the backlines. It's become such a big thing that the devs have actually addressed it in the latest dev talk. I plan to talk about that later, but right now I really want to talk about how Dive was really enabled this season, or at least in my opinion. The first major point, which was kind of like a premonition that Dive was going to be pretty strong, was that strategists did get nerfed at the start of Season 2. And even just the changes leading up to Season 2 for strategists. A fair bit of the stronger ults take now longer to charge, and then in Season 2 we saw changes to skills like lamps, giving them longer cooldowns. Now the interesting thing is that Dive characters were barely altered in Season 2. Out of the major offenders for divers, really only Iron Fist got buffed, which is still pretty huge. He has seen a pretty big jump in usage rate. But there have been other balance changes and other meta changes that have really enabled Dive. A big thing is Winter Soldier got nerfed and a lot of people dropped him in favor for other characters. His hook going from 8 to 12 seconds is pretty big, which for dives is really good for pulling them off their position, pulling away from your strategist, and then doing a chunk of damage onto them. And then his shift skill is also really good at anti-dive. It closes the gap really quickly, it CCs them and then opens up again for them to do a lot of damage to the diver. Then we also have his E, his projectile skill. It's ranged, it has a slow, and it grounds air at opponents. And just like all of his other skills, it reloads his magazine, so he's going to be able to put in a few bullets. Bucky's kit is just really amazing offensively and defensively. But people aren't playing him as much anymore. There is a little bit more Iron Man play, but there's a lot more Human Torch play. Now a lot of people see this character as very broken, and for that reason, a lot of people are picking him up. And due to the nature of flyers, they're generally going to be a bit detached. They're going to be less likely to react to the dive as opposed to a character like Bucky, who was comfortable being between the tanks and heals, or even Hela, who was sometimes back there. And unless the diver is a Spider-Man or Iron Fist who's feeling comfortable about jumping in there and getting the pick, instead the backline just looks less protected and just an easier choice. And that's because it usually is. In terms of meta, we're also seeing less people run triple support. In Season 1, triple support had a high pick rate and a high win rate. It used to compete with 2-2-2, but now we're seeing a 20% difference in win rate in favor of a 2-2-2 or even a 1-3-2. And triple support was really a big deterrent of dive. Like, if there was so much healing in the backline, it was basically useless to dive in on that. And I think overall the nature of Season 1 was quite different as well. There was generally only one diver in team comps. It'd be like a Psylocke or a Spider-Man going in the back. Venom was played a lot more in the front lines from what I saw in Season 1. And Captain America was a lot less popular, but he was still a menace. And now in Season 2, we're seeing teams just overall hard commit to full-on diving. And multiple divers is where the strategist kit falls off. Because it used to be BP jumps in, he uses all his cooldowns, Loki lamps, BP realizes he can't do anything, he runs away and waits for his next time. But then suddenly when you see multiple divers roll up on you, those defensive cooldowns, they're just not enough. Even if you hit the NyQuil or freeze, you're basically just buying time. That's really the thing about dive. The answer and counter to dive is a team effort. The strategists need to survive and stall, so that the rest of the team can turn around and take out the people who wasted all their cooldowns. And according to the latest dev talk, that's how they think about it too. It is a team effort. While strategists might be able to handle a single diving DPS, when there are multiple divers and especially diving tanks in play, it's really not in their favor. In the best case scenario, Rocket and Loki, they take out Venom and then the rest of the team's dead. And with the fall of triple support, having one less support ult to just totally stop a dive is also a big thing too. Now, what we haven't talked about yet is Season 2 actually put in some powerful anti-dive options, or more accurately buffed characters that fight dive decently well, along with the addition of Emma, which basically is anti-dive. In either form, she has really good measures for taking care of dive. Constant pressure and damage from a hit scan projectile, and then in Diamond she's just extremely high damage. She can grab somebody off the strategist, kick him out of position, or outright delete him. I also think that Scarlet Witch is also a very powerful character for anti-dive. Especially if you have a Strange team up, she will melt a tank in the backline easily. But also in her kit, she has a stun. She has a way to get out of anybody diving hurt. Her left click has auto aim. She is very capable of protecting your backlines. But my recent go-to has been Mr. Backshots himself, Fantastic. I love playing this character anti-dive. His buffs just went kind of crazy, to be honest. He does good damage, his E is a gap closer, it slows him down, it has 2 charges. He can use his right click to pull somebody back in, but he can also use the E to put a shield on the allies as well. If there's a tank in the backline, he can brawl with them. He is a very solid choice to fight dive. Penny is also a very strong option as well. Sitting on top of the nest, the webs, the mines, that's all very good to stop people from diving in on you. They can try to take out the nest, but then that's giving them away that they're there. On top of that, her web capture is really insane. It's on a really short cooldown, and it can stop ults. So like a Spider-Man going in for his ult to try to get a quick pick, he can just get webbed right away and just lose it. Also, Namor still exists, so maybe use him too. And that's the thing, there are ways to make fighting dive a lot easier, it's just that a lot of people aren't willing to make the swap. There is just a lot of very stubborn people and a lot of people who think it isn't their problem to solve. By now, I think we've all seen the matches turn on really quickly from just a few character swaps. I really lost count of the amount of Spider-Man players who have gone full schizo mode when I switched into more mid-match. Like yeah, I can track him a little bit on Punisher and get some decent damage on it, or I can have some squids in the back to let me split my attention less and have them auto-aim, and then I can also finish him off. Because if he takes out the squids, I know he's there. If he jumps in with the squids, he's going to take damage. By the time he goes in for the uppercut, he's going to be a free, easy hit and probably finish him off. As opposed to playing Punisher, where I have to be watching the back and the front at the same time. In a situation like that, it's just a no-brainer to switch, but some people are just too stubborn to do that. Now, as somebody who tends to fill and play a lot of strategist, yes, dive has been pretty rough. However, I do think it is helping me become a better player. It is making me think more about my cooldowns, my major cooldowns, and also my positioning. When dive wasn't really that popular in Season 1, it made me more comfortable to sit back. But now with the popularity of dive, you're going to get smoked by the time people turn around and try to defend you. But at the same time, you can't be too close, otherwise Emma's going to come scoop you up and just murder you too. And I've been actually having a lot of fun being a bit more creative playing Rocket, trying to be a little bit more safe, but also try to go my healing with bounces. So instead of going over the corner or way back in it to where I can be seen on the other side, try to make it so my heal orbs bounce around there. Because while I do think and recognize that anti-dive is a team effort, I still do think that everybody has a way to improve. There is always going to be room to improve. But also a big factor to why I haven't crashed out yet is really that I play with friends. I have a couple friends that I sometimes do ranked with, otherwise I have a friend that I just do dual queue into quick play because he doesn't really like comp. And just even having one person that you can rely on goes pretty far. We're both very much on the same page that, hey, everybody has to turn around and fight the diver situation usually. And we both happen to like characters that are pretty good at anti-dive. Emma, Thing, Fantastic, Namor. Now, because I procrastinated so much, we get to take a quick look at the balance patch. Overall, I don't think any of these changes are too huge. I don't think they're gonna like totally shape the meta. I would consider the Vanguard ones pretty negligible. I don't think we're gonna see a difference really on Spider-Man. Winter Soldier's a wait and see. Then we do see Atom, Cloak, and Luna get a little bit of adjustments that kind of leans towards counter dive. The Atom one's really interesting because a good Atom is just gonna go crazy. His ability to fight pressure is looking really good. Cloak is gonna do more damage, and Luna might be able to catch one running away better. And them just having better offensive capabilities. The Bucky Cap team up seems pretty good also. Really good for like on a point on a team fight situation, but I think otherwise it's going to be hard to find them together, as Cap is generally now played as like an all-out dive character and Bucky is not. I don't think this is going to really lean us towards triple support, though now the Atom, Mantis, and Star-Lord comp goes kind of even more crazy. It seems like a good precautionary balance patch, but we'll see where it actually lands. So to sum things up, there's a lot of factors to why dive suddenly became very popular. Some strategists got nerfed, some divers got buffed, we strayed away from triple support, but also I think there are more ways to fight dive now, people just aren't utilizing it as much or enough yet. But ultimately, I do think that the biggest counter to dive is communication. So I think as you get into the higher ranks where people are going to be more willing to work together and adjust, you're going to see less dive popularity. And for that reason, I think that tournament play like Season 1, I don't foresee dive making a huge impact on it. So yeah, that'll be it for my dive yap. This is my first video really dedicated to Rivals, and it's actually been a lot of fun. So let me know in the comments if you want more yaps like this.